Call for the meeting's started. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting on May 4th? I'll second. Second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I have very little in the way of president remarks. I did get a, well, I guess I'll wait till the planning committee. That's it. I was gonna introduce Jeff, then who would introduce Chris Franklin, who now has approval from the county to help us.
And I did tell Jeff that you would do that at the beginning of the meeting, and he said they might be a little late getting it.
Okay, so we'll do it whenever they do.
Yeah.
That really is about all I have in terms of president's remarks. We did have a meeting here early, just before this meeting, with the Drum Point Club people. Do you want to fill in more on that? Basically, what we're talking about is the Independence Day weekend activities. It's going to be on the 3rd. There is no Solomon's fireworks this year, so it doesn't matter whether it's the 4th or the 3rd. So we're going to do it on the 3rd, but the 4th is a rain day. We're going to basically have it catered by Boomerangs to do some barbecue, and then we'll probably do a few veggie burgers and hot dogs for the kids. So we might want to have one or two of us that feel like flipping burgers or hot dogs. The rest of it will be provided by Boomerangs, and it's basically pulled pork, beans, coleslaw. You know, just a simple barbecue picnic, but it'll provide people food. Because we talked about food truck, and then that involves somebody paying the food truck, and we talked to one of them, and they're just all over the place, and a couple of them didn't respond. So Maggie got a hold of Boomerangs, and that they work pretty hard to please you. Bill down there has been a pretty community-minded guy, and he's pretty flexible. And he's flexible enough that if we actually were overwhelmed with people, we could call him, maybe and bring more. So I think we're going to go that route. It'll cost, what did we figure? I think our part of the budget
It'd be
is
about
about
$700.
$700, and then the club will provide other stuff, the condiments and plates
Sodas, they're
and
getting sodas.
utensils and all that, but the big part that they're providing is the band. So there will be a band from 5 to 7, and a 3-piece or 4-piece band. Deanna Dove, I think she's played around town, but I think she's kind of beach music or something.
Yeah, she's played there before.
Yeah, so that's the plan. And we'll meet again on the 15th to finalize any decisions that are going on. So I think we'll have enough budget to do it, and it'll be something we can do for the community. We have no way of knowing. Basically what we decided was we'll sort of figure maybe 75 people, and then we'll have enough food for that. If there's indications that it could go otherwise, either because of weather or something, we can adjust. But it's hard to tell. My personal feeling is, without fireworks, we're not going to get as many people out and about.
Yeah, and it's on the 3rd instead of the 4th.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Is that a Saturday? Yes.
It's a Saturday, yeah.
How are we advertising it, just so people know it's?
Well, we're going to have it's going to be in the newsletter,
Yeah.
and then they're going to advertise on their side, and
Like the board on the.
They're gonna put the board out. I'll send out a community email closer to the event.
Yeah.
That's a good
They don't wanna put their sign out too early, because then others that don't have anything to do with Drum Point
idea.
will come.
And they figure 12:45 on the 3rd is a good time to find out.
yeah, right.
Oh, you missed it, didn't you?
Yeah.
No, I just think sometimes it's nice to have a little heads up, because people are already thinking about,
Oh, yeah,
what they're doing before.
But it's in the newsletter.
Well, it'll be in the
It's
newsletter.
gonna go in the newsletter.
Yeah.
Uh,
Get that next week.
I think
So be out next
And that
week.
is controlled to people that are in the.
That, yeah,
so-
that's true,
Right.
that's true.
Yeah.
Should we get a couple chairs for Jeff and Sal, I see they're here now.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, sure.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
please, thanks, I didn't think of that.
We'll have, basically just some games available, cornhole and
Yard.
volleyball, yard games
Mhm.
for the kids.
And adults.
And
We have to play
adults.
cornhole too.
Yeah, sure. You can beat up on the kids and,
We're not gonna get any of that target when you throw the big giant dart though, are we?
Charcoal.
I didn't-
lawn darts,
I
yeah.
actually have
Buy
a
those
set of those.
Oh, do
You
you?
know, and a group thing,
We
when
don't
they
use
went to
them,
the
but I have
hospital.
Could be dangerous.
I know.
Yeah, you
It
can't buy
is
them
dangerous.
anymore.
No, you're right there. Like they have versions like for beanbags or something.
Probably,
They're
yeah.
Blunt instruments instead
Yeah.
of sharp ones.
At least the people won't be using the kitchen or cleaning up, and so that'll be a lot
No, it's
simpler.
gonna keep it outdoors and.
Yeah.
Well, we can use the kitchen a little bit, do some cleanup, but no, it's
Yeah.
outdoors.
It's not, the kitchen's not gonna be open to the public.
No.
It's gonna be outdoors,
But considering
served buffet style, which is allowed now, and,
Mhm.
what was always a contentious point before, we're gonna bring in some porta potties.
We are,
yes,
they are actually.
porta potties.
Are the bathrooms available?
Oh, I don't think they should be. They seem to go back and
They-
forth about opening them,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I wouldn't if it were me,
Mhm.
because the alarms keep going off. And that's the last thing you want.
Oh, yeah.
And also, I believe the septic system can't handle
Right.
that many people.
Right.
Mhm.
I would leave it closed for
Mhm.
the day,
Yeah.
but that's
That's the
them.
problem. That's the
That's
decision.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's the river.
Yeah.
There you go.
For those that don't like the porta potties, it's 3 trees back, you'll be all right.
Yes,
For the ladies, that's what I'm.
Yeah, ladies only, porta potty, men, the bay.
Hey, maybe some real campers out there.
yeah. You see there they are. Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, hi.
We're a couple minutes late, but we're going over some last minute items out there.
Good.
But,
So, Jeff's gonna introduce Chris, and,
yeah, this is my replacement.
No, not a replacement. A fill-in, not a replacement by no means.
But, now, Chris works for the county. He basically does a lot of what this job requires for the county. And he's very, very knowledgeable. He's been doing in construction his entire life. He knows, worked with them on projects for the county in the past before he went to work for the county. He was working for a lot of contractors over the years. But he's the best man for the position, in my opinion. He lives close. He lives right on Dow Road. You know, just like I live close by, it's easy to swing in and out and look at things and assess problems, and I think he's a good fit.
Yeah.
So,
Throw it down.
I've told him that, you know, I'm gonna be, you know, available, you know, for, you know, a good period, as long as it takes for him until he's comfortable and has legs for the job.
okay.
And, you know, because I've been throwing a lot at him in the
Yeah,
past couple
yeah,
of
oh,
days,
yeah.
just trying to bring him up to speed. I tell him, don't feel overwhelmed, it's not that bad. And it's,
It goes in spurts.
yeah, it goes in spurts, you know.
Springtime, lots of rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's, you know, we're coming up on the, on the paving, which we have to start thinking about scheduling, pre-bids and
Right.
putting things together, so, you know, he's got some stuff he needs to be thinking about.
Yeah.
But anyways, Chris Franklin, and good man, and, this is the board, Mike is the president, and Rhea, you've met before.
Yeah.
She does all the work.
Yes, I do. And you have my cell phone number, right?
I better make sure I've got it.
Jeff said he
You-
did.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
yeah,
have,
I'm sorry.
yeah, he's
Yep.
got 5 sheets with you,
Okay.
with your number and your email address and everything
Okay,
else on
okay.
it.
I work from home on Mondays, so
Okay.
don't hesitate, or even on a Saturday, if something's going on, call me, that's fine. But don't give my cell phone number out to anybody.
Now, have you had a chance to introduce him to Sal?
No, although I've also included Sal's contact, his cell number, Yeah, at some point.
Sal's out of town today, which is why. he didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought perhaps he would be here tonight also, but no, I'm sure he hasn't met Sal, but he has his contact number, his information, and, they will be getting
Yeah,
together.
because there's gonna be their interface, you know,
Right.
a natural interface there. Sal's the roads, and the roads chair, so
Volunteer.
the, from the committee standpoint, or from the board standpoint, he's the committee person.
Okay, so be my main contact there, I assume, well, you're my main contact.
Yeah, I've told him he is gonna be the one he probably, corresponds with the most, but Sal will be, certainly, involved also. And I've also, kinda brought him up to speed on some current issues that we're gonna be having to, deal with, the one over on Buckler and, the one over on Bay. And I think we pretty much decided that all of the other ones are not really,
Top of Lake Vista.
yeah, those aren't really an issue that is Trump wants to really do anything about.
Yeah.
Are you gonna say more about those, or, I'm not aware of some of those issues.
I wasn't, Lakeview I mentioned, at the top of Lakeview where the man has the lot across the street and he said it's wet because of something we're
Vista,
doing.
that was Vista, wasn't it?
Lake Vista.
Yeah, like Vista.
Riverview Causeway.
Yeah,
Okay, so there is a pipe there, and Jeff went out to take a look at it because I couldn't resist telling Jeff about it. And you agreed that it's nothing, well,
Yeah, it's
you said it's
basically,
nothing that we're doing.
there's two pipes across under Vista and they're both.
oh, yeah, the ones the pipes we couldn't find.
Well, yeah, I found the one, I just
Well, yeah,
couldn't
but
see
it's
what
the
lot
lower
it went to.
Huh?
I couldn't figure out what lot I don't know
No,
that it's
I
his
haven't.
lot it's going to, and it drains into Lake Vista.
Yeah, both pipes drain into Lake Vista, so they're draining the land on the other side of the
Right.
road, and they're HDPE pipes, so they are replacement pipes of probably original corrugated metal pipes. So they, certainly, just because of the topography, been there ever since the road was initially built, because you can't build a road and dam with water. But the road, the land is very low lying. I mean, the high tide is pushing back through them.
Well,
You
yeah,
know, so that's not your issue.
Right.
no,
He bought a lot there, and if it's that wet, the only way it's gonna fix it is if he fills it, gets the permit to raise
He's
it
trying to
up.
sell it is the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And so, and what I asked you the other day is, we didn't have an obligation to get rights of water discharge if that was part of an original, we built the road and the pipe the pipe goes under the road. And,
Right.
it's just part of the original road system that was put in.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And there was another, issue over off of Deer Drive, which,
The driveway?
yeah, the pipe actually goes from the road all the way to the river, right around the guy's house through his backyard, and no easement that I'm aware of. Yeah, almost certainly from the history of when the houses were built, his was the second house built. When it was built, builder probably put that pipe in to get water to the river around his house.
And you actually talked to him?
I actually
He
talked
was
to him,
very
explained
nice
it,
about
he was nice, he
Yeah.
understood it, he really
I don't
wanted
think
somebody
so.
to fix his problem, but where the settlement at his driveway was, which was a complaint, I observed a 12 diameter grate that was about 8 feet back into the property, which the previous owner must have installed. He said he didn't do it, and he punched a hole through the pipe, which goes back to and it's just, I have a picture of it, but they really just, it's just all, it almost looked like something went off and he just beat through the pipe, and that, right above that is where the settlement's occurring. So he's gonna cut it out, and I told him, take some sacrete, put it all around that joint where, because what's happening is it's sucking soils down into that pipe.
yeah,
But that's something that was caused by the homeowner.
right, right.
And plus the pipe is running off the property, wasn't put in by Drum Point, so that's really not something you
Right.
really have a responsibility to address.
I'll send an email to this man on that has the property at the top of Lake Vista. He won't be as frank,
I'm sure.
because he and I have
yeah.
had words.
Mhm.
I mean, when he first called me about the lot, I had to hear about his divorce. He didn't want to buy that lot anyway. His wife made him and all that. So,
Well, the only pipe that I saw if he didn't have that pipe, then it would be even worse. He would have more water up in that.
Oh, absolutely. He would
So-
have
Yeah,
four
that's
foot of water,
right.
Yeah,
5
so
foot of
it's
water.
draining,
back
it's
there.
helping them, really.
Yes,
Right.
yeah, it's not, if he thinks it, maybe he thinks it's coming back to him, but that's
So
not
I
the
think
case.
that's what he thinks, and it's not clogged.
No,
Okay.
no,
No,
Yeah.
no, it looked like it was open, so, then, I noticed up on Cardinal, you know, the guy that was
yeah,
complaining
the guy
about
has
the-
put down
He's
some
put down
tubes.
some rock.
He's put down some bluestone tubes. Chris and I looked at that. It's not gonna stop the water.
No,
But he's actually addressed it, and if he's happy with whatever it does, more power to him.
right, and that's the way that lot is situated, I got a kick out of that video he sent of the rain.
Yeah,
I mean, that day it was raining so hard,
right,
that I don't care what kind of a lot you had, it was gonna be wet.
right.
And the water, most of the water, you know, is running, actually runs away from him, it runs around him on both sides.
Right, yeah.
I don't,
Across the street stays there, and,
Yeah.
but there is a certain portion of the intersection that she flows towards this property, and when you get those gully washers,
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
what are you gonna do?
right,
You know, I mean, the county, you know, Chris will tell you too, you know, even the storm drain management systems that are put in, you have those types of rains, it overwhelms them. There's, you
Yeah.
know, even in those extreme situations, it's more than can be handled.
So then there's Lakeview,
That's trouble.
okay.
Lakeview, the driveway interface at Lakeview, Southern Maryland paving.
Yeah, we
Because the
did,
board has to approve that.
yeah, we did get a proposal back on that for $1,200. My recommendation would be to go ahead with it. It's not excessive. It's within reason, I think, and I think it would be better to go ahead and get that taken care of. If they aren't responsive or quickly enough to get it done by the time we do the overlays, then we could take care of it then. But I think, you know, it would be prudent to go ahead and accept it, let them get it taken care of. Because that's that much more you're gonna have to throw on. You're on two ends of the, drum point, moving equipment and material around it. So, and I can, pass off, Brian, the paving foreman's contacts to Chris, so he can, work with scheduling as far as getting it done.
So we need a motion. I mean, I know that doesn't involve you guys.
We can do that.
Okay, okay.
For the most part.
Oh. I think that's it.
So,
Well, welcome.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you all. Thank you all for waiting for me. The county took a little time to get me approved.
They did, yeah.
I was waiting and I thought, well, it won't be there when I get there, but thanks again for waiting. I appreciate Jeff's good words, and I'm not filling his shoes. I will walk in his steps, but I'm not. That's not gonna happen.
Sounds like you have the experience that,
Yeah.
you know, as Jeff described it. This is
And if
what
we don't know, we will find out.
We will talk to Jeff.
You want to follow up later on
Oh,
this, or
yeah.
have, just give that to him and,
I went ahead and filled out, I think Jeff showed you the service contract.
Yes.
So I filled out the dates, it's for a year, and the percentages, same as Jeff. Do you want to take it with you and read it, and then sign it, and then bring it back?
I can, yeah, I can do that, and then that'll be good, and then I can get together with you and iron out all my questions that I'll probably have.
Okay,
Okay,
all right, that
This
works.
is
Oh,
my
good, thanks.
email and myself, and just, that's my primary one, but that's the secondary.
Okay, great.
okay.
If you need anything, feel free.
Okay, perfect, thank you so much.
Thank you all for the
At some
opportunity.
point, I'll need your, social security number.
Yes, I will get that, working on the insurance and everything else now, so we'll get everything together here.
Okay, sounds
yeah, I'm
good.
trying to get them in with the same carrier that I was with, so hopefully that'll
Okay,
work out with him too.
good.
So.
Thanks.
Looking forward to it, clear as mud, we're good to go.
It was nice meeting you.
You're welcome to stay if you like meetings.
I've been in the fire department for almost 39 years now, so I know all about them, yes. My wife's in the board meeting down there right now.
Thank you very much, you'll pass.
You carry on,
Very
just let me know what you need at the end.
All right, thanks.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Nice meeting you
you.
guys, take care.
Thank
See you.
you.
Take care.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
yeah, yes.
Unfortunately, the county finally relented.
created the absentee ballot for the budget, which tell all your friends, you know, as soon as the newsletter comes out anyway. And I posted the full budget on the website, and I'll have copies out here as well. So there's that. And I think I probably told you, Jeff had provided me, or now Chris has, Jeff's nice big notebook full of Jeff's jobs. I think I told most of you that what a nice, neat order, you know, and record he has. So I took his lists and I put them into a spreadsheet so I could search to say, oh, did we do this on Heron Drive? Well, yes, we did.
Mhm.
And I got thinking, I wanted to clean out some files, some of the contracting files, and I thought, if I hide those in the back room, I'm not, because actually it was the Lake Vista. I wanted to see, did we do a pipe on Lake Vista? And trying to go through the old files in 1999 and so on. I found the replacement pipe information. But anyway, I thought, why don't I put that into the spreadsheet? Maybe not those old ones, but the ones I'm taking out to archive. So I'm putting those into the spreadsheet. And then actually, I thought, what if we have a fire?
Mhm.
And it just seems to me that those are the important files to have. So I'm gonna put them, I have got a big file cabinet over there, it's fireproof, I don't know if anybody notices it, it's around the corner. But the bottom drawer has software in it. Nobody has software anymore because we download it. It's old Office and so on. So I'm gonna get rid of that mostly. I'm gonna put those files down there so they're protected. I don't know, it seems like that's something we should keep.
Are, maybe you probably have told me, but are you doing a backup on the computer?
Oh, I'm on the cloud.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're backing up on the cloud?
Yes, we're on the
Okay,
cloud.
so those files
and-
should also be backed up.
Yes,
Okay.
that's true. They are.
It's a good
That's
point.
true.
Good point, because my vet burned down.
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah, I know,
And
exactly.
they're, it's taking a while for them to get
Yeah.
people's
Oh, yeah.
records and things. I was
Oh, yeah.
like, didn't they have it, backed
Well,
up? I
these
don't
days,
know.
I'll tell you, backing up to the cloud is great, but it's also will slow your computer down tremendously. When I come in here Tuesday morning and turn on that system, it takes me a good 20 minutes to get fully functional, because it wants to check for any backups, or any changes. And then by the time I can get access open and really move through, like I should be able to, it's a good 20 minutes.
Bring a larger cup of coffee.
I should. So you can just turn off the
We
sync.
can talk about that.
But anyway, so yes,
There may
it's
be-
backed up
There
in
may
the
be other
cloud.
ways to do it where it does it when you're sleeping, and,
Maybe.
we can talk about
And
it.
we'll talk about that, because it drives me crazy.
Quick question, yeah. Who has access to the cloud through your computer?
Just me,
Just you?
no problem.
I mean,
I wonder if we need a backup.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also have my notebook that's on the shelf that has all the codes, and the bottom drawer is actually the access codes, like to my desktop. 1.401, it's pretty easy to figure out. But the access codes are in another file cabinet, it's supposed to be fireproof as well. And they're all printed out in that bottom drawer.
But that's part of what we want to start documenting so that anybody could go in.
Right. Well, and I have a procedure manual that I keep for all kinds of things.
We just need a little roadmap on where to find all that stuff. And, is
I'm
that,
not leaving tomorrow.
No,
no, I know that, but,
Just saying.
no, it's gonna take a while to get it
Oh, I understand.
out of your head.
I understand, yeah. So maybe I should keep that office manual that I have in that bottom drawer too. I don't know.
you can, I mean,
Yeah,
Right.
keep it
Maybe I
on the
will.
spot. So,
Alright.
so that,
Okay, that's all.
Okay. Anything else to add on the roads? It sounds like we kind of went over everything.
Well, we just need a motion to
Oh, for the,
approve Southern Maryland paving. It's
Remember, she
$12.
sent around a proposal from Southern Maryland, which basically was to put almost like a speed bump in front of that driveway, because we had elevated the pavement a little bit, which caused the water to come back into his place, so it's sort of on our nickel to fix it. Now, if we hadn't put a curb in front of Tony's, we probably wouldn't have to worry about it, wouldn't have a precedent, but. Anyway, so if you remember that proposal, I think it sounds reasonable, it's a decent price. He got a bid from,
Great Mills.
Great Mill,
Mm.
which was much higher, so he recommends this one.
I'll certainly trust his judgment and his recommendation.
Right. So we just need a motion to accept that proposal.
I'll motion to accept.
Motion,
Yeah, second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Somebody's got to vote against something.
And the only other thing on that was,
Who would make a motion to fire me?
No, that doesn't happen.
Opposed.
Yeah, opposed.
Table.
Yeah.
Right.
Bonnie had mentioned the well rings. I had Joe look at the well rings, and he can't find any additional issues on well rings, and you looked at them too, right?
Right.
Well, there's, if you're talking about the beach access,
Yeah.
we walk it.
Well, so if you could mark it,
Sure, well,
like with spray paint it or
well,
something.
okay,
Yeah,
okay, I mean,
yeah, seriously.
Yeah, because
Because Joe couldn't find it. I even looked at it.
I went down and looked where I put the rocks in, and
yeah,
it's holding, there's no
There's a
side,
dip.
huh?
there's a big dip there.
No, there's not a big difference.
Yeah, there is.
Spray paint.
Well,
Truly, truly,
okay, mark it or something, and I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
we'll put,
okay.
or get a bag of rocks.
If you're talking about the actual well rings, that may not be the case, but it's a very narrow thing because Minboo's fence goes right up to it.
That's why
Well,
maybe I'm just not understanding exactly what you're talking
Okay,
about,
I
so,
will spray paint it.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, now I'm getting happy.
Or something.
Well, that's not
Maybe
a
not.
property.
That's right, it's not a problem,
It washes away.
eventually.
But Tony can tell you, I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I believe you, I just don't know
Well, I know
what you're
where, I know what you're
talking about.
talking about,
Yes, this little thing.
right,
Yeah, so you're
that's
saying.
that's level with the rest of the ground.
No,
there.
there's a dip. There's-
No, there isn't.
I was there today.
Okay, well then spray paint.
Yeah, I did.
And-
I said your
I should-
dip, because I
I
walk
should-
across it every day.
Ours just says that she sees.
I mean, I know it's there, so I,
Yeah, yeah.
but some people might not.
But, yeah, somebody.
So buy a bag of rock and throw in there, or gravel, and get her, have Rhea reimburse you then.
I'll just spray paint it, and get Joe to do it.
Jenna has a question.
Because I thought maybe, you know, what I was worried about was, and this was actually right after a fairly heavy rain, so it had not eroded at all.
But it's not level with the well ring.
No, it's not, but none of that's level with the water
Well,
rings.
It's been eroding out over time. And
Well, I
That's
think
supposed to be,
we're,
that's supposed to be our beach access, and it's very narrow, and you have this.
but you
big
can walk
dip.
on top of the well rings.
You can, and
I
you
mean,
can
that
also
would
fall,
be
and
the,
you
to
can
me,
also fall
it's
into
the
the
natural
dip.
walking area.
It's narrow, and some
Might-
people might.
Well,
Might it be more sensible, since that's going to continue to do what it's doing, if we just got yellow, bright yellow paint and painted like Ashen? You know, like when you're
That's
going,
not really the
Yeah,
issue.
I-
I think
okay.
Asha knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
If you used it every day walking your dogs,
But if there's stone on it now and it's not going down, throwing some gravel on top, seeing how it settles, and then just pour some saccharine on it.
something that will level it off. So that well ring path is a little wider than the dimension.
But
I
the
think
thing,
that's what.
well, okay, but if there is actually erosion taking place there, and you put saccharine on top, it's gonna erode underneath it,
Well,
so that's
we
why.
have a problem.
Well, that's what I'm
with
saying,
beach access.
throw some gravel on it, and if it doesn't settle after a
Right.
few weeks, then pour some saccharine on it and be done with
And
it.
just level it off so that there's a little wider.
You could ask Joe if he could
Meanwhile.
throw a couple sacks of gravel in there and see what it
I
does.
guess I'll have some of
That may level it off a little bit.
okay.
Mike?
I don't know if this fits into the category, but is there any way to get someone to trim up some bushes and shrubs, especially coming around on Bay Drive across from Amanda and Doug's?
Yeah.
Because it's
Well,
gotten,
very
it's
good.
gotten,
You're
it's
right.
gotten where it's
Yeah.
going up the support poles,
Yeah,
you know, the wires.
Yeah.
That You can't see when you're coming
Yeah,
around
yeah.
either
Oh,
way.
Dangerous, very
And,
dangerous.
and that, I mean, I think that's a very dangerous curve, because
I'll bring,
people walking,
Yep.
don't pay attention.
I agree, and I'll bring it to their attention. I just want to interject there with regard to Joe, and his son is going to be helping us out, but, you know, his open heart surgery, the wires broke
Oh, my God.
and popped through his chest. I know, right? Yeah. He's going up Friday for an MRI. He said it doesn't hurt like you might think, although sometimes those wires are little. So they need to, Jack, don't they need to like re-break it or something?
I thought they did that already, no?
No,
They were going to and they
canceled
canceled it, they
Oh.
postponed it. So I'm just saying that
Yeah,
his son is gonna help us out, but it may not happen tomorrow.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I don't know. It might take a while. If anybody has some terms out there, just.
Well, I hope they don't have to re-break it. I wonder
I
if-
think that's what he
What
said.
I understand is the bones have separated and have healed. So
Oh,
you've got
okay,
two
so they,
healed bones here, so they're
Yeah.
not gonna.
Yeah, they're not gonna bind together.
because that's the worst
Right,
part of
that would
open
make
heart
sense.
is the healing of that, your sternum. You know, that's what you really have to be careful of.
That's it.
Well, and I
I don't
stressed to him he shouldn't be doing physical labor.
No,
And so he had his son help him do some sign posts. No, the posts down at the Cosmic was. Anyway.
Should look pretty good.
Yeah, good.
yeah,
All right.
okay. Well, maybe
Oh,
mention it to them and see if they can do it.
all right.
Anything else on
No, nothing.
money? Jack?
Just one thing on the absentee ballots, I mean, I wonder if we could be a bit proactive. and
Yeah.
Take a bunch of these and hand them out to neighbors we know aren't gonna go.
Well,
I
So
can
we
put
can
some
get
out
to the
Like
tomorrow.
we did last time,
That's
like
what
we did last time.
That's what we did
That
last
really
time.
worked
Yeah.
well.
And I think we got our 35.
Oh, yeah. We had 35 absentee ballots.
I think I passed out about 5 to my neighbors, and if every one of us do 3 to 5,
Yeah.
we'll have, that'll give us a quorum.
Mhm.
I'll print some tomorrow and just come on in and get them.
Yeah,
Okay.
good idea.
Yeah.
And no surprises on the budget, it's just right where we expect to be. Nothing out of line, no big expenditures other than professional fees, which we've already dealt with. One interesting there's a new line that caught my eye, they told me about donations by owners, we got $270 donated to us.
It's on the front page.
What, just for our good
Line
looks?
499, yes, 4900.
I should change it. That's not-
What was their reasoning for doing so?
One man sends in an extra 120, is that what I said, Jack, or 150?
Because they're a home too.
He just makes a note on his statement and says, you know, I never get down there, it's a vacant lot that he owns. I never get down there, and I know you guys do wonderful work. I've never been
Oh, how
down there.
nice.
And he's done this a couple of times. I usually send him a thank you letter.
Okay.
And then the other was like 150, or I don't remember exactly, came from property that sold down on Pilot. John Rivero, anybody remember John
Oh,
Rivero?
yeah,
He used to be on the board.
Yes.
I got a check for whatever amount that was from the title company from when he sold, either when he bought or when he sold, I'm not sure which. And they had done an audit of their books and found that they owed that money to us. I looked, I didn't see it, but I just took it as a donation. I'm
Thank you
not
very
worth
much.
arguing about, right. So, yeah, that's what that is.
That's
I wonder if this one donor wants to be anonymous, or does he care if we cite him?
Oh,
Just in
I
case.
don't know. I have no idea. And frankly, I guess I could look back and see who that was. Because it doesn't go on to his statement, but I have it elsewhere.
So you're saying the general meeting said if anybody else wants to contribute?
No donation too small.
Well, you'll note the $1 also.
Oh, is that right?
That is because somebody who asked for the quitclaim insisted
Oh.
that she pay us $1,
Oh,
otherwise it wouldn't be legal. You can think about who that might be.
Oh, okay, oh, okay, yeah, okay, oh, interesting.
Are we being recorded?
Yes, we are. And she was an attorney, so. And it's fine, it's just, but that's what that $1 is.
So that's it, not much to report on the budget today.
I just thought it would go back on roads. Thanks to Gina for reminding me about brush. Did we find out anything about the brush being cut back on?
He's never responded to me.
You know, on, just past your house, between
Yeah,
your house and the
Yummerman.
pond.
Roger Youngman's
He
house.
bought that lot,
Yeah, he's cutting back and he's putting a fence up.
which is fine, but it's in our right, but he's leaving brush in our right of way. I called and left him a message.
Yeah, I don't think he's done yet, cause he's putting a fence like behind us too, so he's got all this board and stuff. Looks like it's gonna be a long project.
Okay,
So we're sure that it's done. And I figured it was, just based on what you had said, and then I drove by. Should I send him a letter and ask him to please, or just give him some time? He doesn't strike me as the kind of person that would just leave it there.
No, he's not gonna leave it there. I think he's still in the process of working on
I
it.
think the day I rode by there, it's probably fairly freshly cut.
Yeah, he
And
did this week.
Probably just hadn't
Yeah.
gotten in there to clean it up, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to be sure that,
Yeah, no, he has two Vislas that run all over the place, and I think he
Yeah.
finally is gonna put a fence
He
up.
owns like four, I think that gives him 4 lots, I think,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, cause he owns a lot that's like beside us and behind us.
Okay. Well, maybe you guys can just kind of keep an eye on it. If it looks like he's abandoning it or something, let us know
Yeah.
and we'll,
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna abandon it, but yeah, it is a lot of brush. I was actually kind of surprised, so, yeah.
okay,
he'll probably haul it out all at once.
Yeah.
no problem.
Alright.
All right. Bonnie, anything on environment or?
Nothing, except that it's time for me to send an email to Mark Smith and see what he wants to do this year. I don't think we have much to do as far as driveways except repairs. I haven't been down there recently to check and see what the kill was.
Mhm.
But that would be the only place I would expect any substantial amount that would come back.
I have something. A couple weekends ago, I went and spent the weekend with my sister who lives in University Park. And down there, they have this volunteer group, and a lot of neighborhoods are doing it. It's called Ivy League. And they're asking for volunteers to come out once a month from whenever you want to do it, as long as you can do it. It's a 2-hour time frame on a Saturday. And they come out and they just clip ivy off trees.
Oh.
And
Can I give you my address?
But they're saving a lot of trees. They've been doing it for years down there and it's making a big difference.
Yeah,
And I thought maybe we could start something like that here with our Drum Point owned properties. The DPPOA
Yeah.
properties.
yeah. Well, that's a good idea. That's a really good
And
idea.
maybe the SCL, the land trust properties also.
Yeah, well,
They own
it's,
77 or so.
yeah. So when I went, there were about 6 volunteers that showed up, and he gave me one of these as a complimentary gift, but they give it out to people who show up for 5 times, 5 times they get a little scarf or something like
Oh,
that.
I like that. Yeah, very nice.
Well, it doesn't have to be this, but it would be a good idea to have just a little token gift for people that show up. And then they also have a sign that they put out saying that the Ivy League is in progress or whatever.
Right.
We
Yeah,
have
people
something
see that-
similar in my Bethesda neighborhood, it's a Little Falls Creek cleanup. It's not ivy, but
Mhm.
it's just a cleanup of some of these public areas.
Mhm.
It is nice.
Yeah, they're making a big difference. We actually volunteered to help, but we had trouble finding trees that needed
How old is that
because they,
community?
it's a very old
Is
community.
it like
University Park
similar
now,
like this?
So what,
under College Park,
So pretty, like a lot of trees and stuff?
lots of big,
Okay, it's
beautiful
not
trees.
nice
But
and green to begin with. Okay.
they've been very good about doing this. And you just start, they do the window method. You get a screwdriver and you pull the vine and then you just snip it off. You pull it down a little bit, maybe 2 feet, and you snip that. So you're not, it's gonna
Yeah.
grow back over years,
Yeah.
but you're saving it for the time
is
being.
there anything else we should be cutting back? There's other stuff.
Probably, but I think ivy is a big problem and it's a good start.
Do we have that much ivy here?
Oh,
yeah.
Do we?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Run around a little bit, look at some of these empty lots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that, a couple months ago, you remember I talked about entry, there's
They've clipped it some,
that,
they've clipped it some,
but
but
it's not, they didn't get,
I know. And there again, I hate to keep bringing it up, but Joe's health just hasn't allowed him to stay on top of it.
I'm just.
And then once he
trees on.
realized he had to go back in for surgery, he got his son, it's on his list.
Well,
It's on his
would-
list.
Would you be willing to you know,
That
kind
feels
of
like a change.
start a pilot project and see if we could get a,
Definitely, maybe, I don't know if we can get it in this month's newsletter.
No, it's full.
Okay,
It's full.
so maybe start, just the next I guess we'll have to start with the next newsletter.
Well,
What
we
you
can-
said,
General
you got an
membership.
email.
she could do,
Uh-huh.
she could do an email
Okay.
blast out.
Okay,
If you'll put some
I'll put
words
some
together
together and send it to you, and with your
Yeah.
blessing, we'll send it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
You can put it on your Facebook. Can
Put
you
it
put it
on
on your
your
Facebook?
But I don't know how many people are checking it yet. That's the-
actually, I have a lot of people on there right now.
I-
Yeah, we've got
I-
almost 70 people, so that's really good.
Yeah.
And with your newsletter going out, I'm
Yeah,
sure it's
yeah,
gonna
it's
double.
mentioned.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but,
Also-
I kinda wanted to get everybody's blessing to do
Also
it.
poison ivy. There's a lot of
Well,
poison
see,
ivy
yeah, you're gonna have to
out
wear
there.
gloves, you're gonna have
I
to,
know,
we're gonna have to
there's
tell
a lot of
people, and
poison
you have to be
ivy out
wise
there.
about it, but I think it could make a difference, and we could
Oh, yeah.
start
Mhm.
on these lots back here,
Yeah.
so.
Good idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and also, just to help educate people on how to take care of their own trees, their own lots, because my trees got the crap climbing up all the time,
Yeah.
and,
Is it just a-
what's the best way to do it, and
Yeah.
your method there.
Well, I have one in my backyard that needs to be done, but it's too close to the water, and I can't get to it easily, so, and I'm afraid of snakes right now, but, anyway, but yeah.
I'd be almost
Make
afraid
a
of
lot of
snakes.
noise.
What about
But
other
it's
things
kind
like
of hard to
I'm
get
more
to
worried
because it's
about
a
poison
new
ivy, because it
Yeah.
tends
poison
to
ivy,
get
yeah.
intermingled with
Oh,
the.
I
Yeah,
know, it's terrible,
yeah.
yeah.
But-
What about other things like, the Virginia creeper, there's all sorts of vines.
That,
that
I
go
wouldn't,
through.
that's a
You
good
do that?
thing,
That's
Virginia
a good-
creeper's a good thing.
To go up trees?
Yeah, it doesn't girdle them and
Okay.
kill them.
Right.
English ivy does,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
so,
I know, English ivy is destructive.
you know.
The Virginia creeper just kind of grows loose. It's like the wild grape also, kind of just grows up and it
Doesn't hurt.
doesn't strangle stuff, but it's a nuisance, but
It's ugly, yeah.
it's pretty easy to pull out.
Wish we formally do something about the kudzu.
Yeah, yeah.
Hire goats.
They do
Yeah,
that
sometimes.
sometimes.
Oh, I know.
It's expensive.
The goats actually eat the kudzu,
Yeah.
it's expensive.
Mhm.
Well, goats will eat, they're great for poison ivy.
You
too.
don't let,
Yeah.
don't let them near your park
It
car.
doesn't bother them, they love it, they'll eat it.
Yeah, they eat everything.
So if we do this, can I get a little bit of money to get a little gift for people that show up 5 times? Is that okay? Or, and to make a sign to put out, I can show you what they had.
Jack.
We probably
I
got-
don't know. I mean, we don't have to, but I think it might,
We got a new fiscal year coming up.
Yeah.
It's
True,
coming
although
up
we didn't
days.
put it in the budget, but there's money in the hospitality budget.
Yeah, I don't think it would be that much.
Wouldn't be
Oh,
that much,
yeah.
wouldn't be that much.
Wouldn't be
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, just come up with some ideas.
there should be some money for
Okay, we'll
that.
find it.
I mean, this is the sign that they had out, they put out. You just stick it in the ground.
Oh,
That'd be good.
Yeah, so.
Oh, very nice, yeah, very nice.
And I was thinking maybe 9 to 11 on the 3rd Saturday of each month. Go out there.
Like during spring and summer, fall.
Well, I didn't ask this group, they said they do it monthly, but I didn't ask if they did it during the winter months or not, but
I think the group in Bethesda that does this cleanup on the creek, they do it all year
every
round.
month, all year round, yeah,
Well,
so,
weather permitting.
yeah, so, anyway.
Okay, good. Okay, anything on safety?
I had an appointment with Gary and I come up here and business got in the way, so I'm gonna cancel it, but now that I'm back from Colorado and things are smoothing out, I'm gonna give him a call and we'll come back. I can probably come back.
I can be here if it's not on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome in.
Yes, I have supplies on hand for 6 buckets. You guys are coming in tomorrow at 11?
11.
Okay.
Do you need help?
If you want to have this?
A couple weeks ago, I came in and I had an envelope through my door, and it had this in it. And it's a card, and this is the blank one, I've got my other one over there. But it's, Doug Donican lives on Bay Drive, near the causeway, and he's a photographer. He takes lovely pictures. And he thought it might be nice, and he offered to take pictures and get them printed for us to include something in the welcome buckets.
Oh, like that, that would be really nice.
And well, and he came up with some ideas, he and his wife, and then he's been working with Cindy on it, they've been talking about it. to grab one of those. Either do these cards, and that's a price list that you put together, or, and I think this is a nicer idea, frame it. And there's two sitting here because this is a frame that Amanda had. So they printed it out and put it in this frame. Cindy had this frame, just as an example of the size. It would be more in keeping with that style, and I didn't print a bunch of these, but, so we can get, option 2 is the one that Cindy and I both kind of like the best. You could do it for $2.25 each. And that's the print, the frame, and so on. Because you can get, how many of these frames? A dozen? 12 of these frames for not a lot of money. Where is it?
So this is the 4x6
That would be
size.
that size, but more in keeping with this style.
About that.
Yeah. So it's $2.10 per frame, if you buy a dozen at a time. And I looked to see how much we've been spending, and you guys gave her a budget of between $8 and $10 per bucket. And she's so good about being frugal. We spent a little under $8 per bucket, like $7.89, something like that. So
So that includes a bottle of wine?
the wine is donated.
Oh, it's donated.
Yes, the buckets are donated, the wine is donated.
That means you have to go shop at Carolyn's.
Yes,
The types of
yeah,
wine
yeah.
liquors.
So
Somehow she
anyway,
gets her money back.
I guess maybe we would need a motion, although it's in keeping with the budget you gave her. So, I don't know, does that need a motion or not?
I don't think so. But it's within the budget, I think it's,
Yeah,
the budget's been approved, so.
yeah, a couple years ago, it's just stayed
But
there.
it's within that, I don't see any motion, I think it's a good idea.
And does everybody kind of agree that option 2, this size frame,
That's nice.
style?
Yeah.
Yeah, the card is nice,
That's nice.
people don't write
They don't-
cards like
Right.
they used to.
Right.
No,
They just don't, everybody's emailing and texting.
But, I don't know, I like.
Well, some do.
I like the card
There's
too.
some-
I like
Yeah.
cards.
And you
Handwritten
could probably talk to
cards.
It's
Doug,
not
and
every
Doug would
time,
make
yeah.
some of these for you. But it just seemed to me overall, this would make a nicer splash in the bucket. So,
And how much more would it cost for the light, the slightly larger one than the slightly smaller?
that one was,
The double?
almost, well, $51 for a dozen versus $27 for a dozen. And then, the cards are $22.20 for a dozen. I had to add that on, I didn't see that's what
And do we usually have, how many, like, each year, how many buckets do we do?
I don't know each year. We've done since October, I think, of 2017, I want to say 79, 80 buckets. You know, and I send letters out, and if people don't respond, I put, you know, the status as outdated. If they come in 2 months later, you know, I go ahead and give them their bucket, I'm not gonna, and so it's sort of hit or miss, up and down.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
The one that
This-
doesn't-
And I know, you know,
This
like,
frame, I
sometimes
think,
have very
overwhelms.
busy-
That's,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Right, right, and this is it.
And
Maybe
that,
that's part of the
I
problem.
think that's part of the problem, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
What's that?
The frame
I
is,
think this frame overwhelms the picture.
It does, this
Makes it look
shows it off
smaller.
nice.
Right, yeah.
But this, that's the picture of the frame that you can get a dozen for.
Is that?
oh, yeah.
It's not exactly,
Well, but
it's
similar.
in keeping with the
Yeah, yeah, but it's, yeah,
And it would be
it's,
just simple.
yeah, it's simple, it's plain, it doesn't have
Right.
the motion.
Right.
Right.
She just wanted to show it to you in that sense.
Yeah. No, that's helpful.
All right,
Okay.
and that's it, you're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, planning, I have to confess that I'm behind somewhat. I did get an updated proposal from Coastal Design to basically put in one spur near our property line and slant it in such a way that it would provide a break for us with some sand behind it to do the job. But I need to coordinate with, meet with Jenny and Gary, just so we're all in the same sheet of music, and then discuss it at the next general membership meeting.
By the way, Cindy took this picture of the beach.
The asphalt's back, huh?
Oh, yeah.
It's bad,
Oh.
bad. I mean, pass it around so people can see what we're talking
When
about.
did she take that?
This weekend sometime, and I just
Oh,
asked her
yeah.
to text it to me. Not nice.
And
then
that's funny,
there's some
Friday-
people way in like in the distance, and you can see a couple people
Yeah.
on the blank, you know.
Friday, Shirley came in with the list, you know, that she needed, and I said, how's the beach looking? She says, it looks good.
Oh, it did? I mean,
Friday,
And the same thing happened last
But
year.
that's terrible, you can't even go to the you wouldn't even wanna walk into the.
well, at the end, you
Quick, get a dumpster, we'll have a pickup.
At the end, yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
My bad.
Oh, it's like,
I'm serious.
I mean, are they not
Bummer.
Yeah,
sturdy
Well,
enough?
I was
That-
down there today, it didn't look like that.
That would
well, yeah.
overwhelm a pickup
Oh,
truck.
really?
I mean,
Okay.
you'd have to run a few loads, but plus
Well, yes, yeah,
disposing of it.
right,
everything.
right.
But, you know, that's bad, and it's been bad before
I
like that.
know, I
And then
know.
it's recovered, and, you know, not long ago, you couldn't hardly find a piece
I
of
know.
asphalt.
I
out there.
think there's
I
a
know.
little piece of beach here where people can actually go into the water and have sunbathing.
Yeah.
This is, and
It's too bad, it really is.
So I'll get more information out on that, and I'll send you the latest proposal that we've got. I'm gonna, whether he's on our side or not, I need to talk to Kurt, because he'll be the most vocal and believable, and I respect his opinion, and he may be right. But regardless of his models and everything, the empirical evidence, which you can see in the satellite pictures, says it works.
and
So,
across the
if
river,
you do it
on the
right.
base.
yeah, if you do it
Yeah.
right, yeah, if you
If
do it
it's
right.
done right, it can work. So anyway, that's kind of where that's at. I haven't made a lot of progress.
And is there any additional news or news on the interest-free loan from the state?
No, and that's another thing I'm waiting on. He said the guy who runs that communicated with us and said he'd like to come look at the place, and we said, yeah, come on, just tell us when. And we never heard from him again, so that's another thing I gotta do, is
Bugging.
bug them.
yeah,
And,
be good to know.
yeah. So that's where that's at. Unfinished business. Property.
Was that the thing across the street?
I called her, I don't know, after the meeting, after the last meeting, and hinted that maybe the board might be a little interested. I hadn't really talked to them too much yet, I said. She said, what did I tell you, 15 to 20? She thought 15 to 20,000, and she's basing that on, not an offer, but I guess a suggestion that John Gray made a number of years
Oh.
ago, saying that, you know, he thought it was worth that. John was the former president, long-serving, dedicated guy.
But what was his basis for thinking it was worth it?
I don't know,
Well, large corner lot.
Large
But
corner
it
lot, it
doesn't
does
hurt,
not
But,
hurt.
well, I don't know whether he factored that into it or not. Who
That would
knows?
be a big thing.
Well, sure.
It would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The value on the SDAT is, I think, around 5, as I recall, 4,700 or 5,000.
Yeah.
And I said to her when she told me that, I said, well, I don't know that the board would ever be able to consider that amount. And I also mentioned that it would have to come up to membership approval. You're not allowed to buy property without approval.
Well, I can certainly run comps.
Okay, yes, you're an agent, you could do that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think of that, that's a good idea. So then we would have something to present to her, a little more concrete, you know.
Who's the owner?
Velma Hawkins.
Thelma Hawkins?
Velma. Velma.
D-E-L-M-A?
Hawkins,
Hawkins?
Hawkins, H-A-W-K.
Hawkins.
Hawkins, okay.
Is it a double lot?
No, but it's a pretty good size lot, I'd say that.
It's a large,
I don't think it's a double lot. You can see that on the SDAT, it'll have an R, but I never noticed there being an R. Being replatted, I guess. But it's a pretty good sized lot though. I mean, you know, the house that's here, their property must come out a certain distance, and of course, that house down on Borrego comes
So it's
out.
hard to tell.
It's hard to tell, I don't know.
Marking it.
Right, right. So, yeah, that's a good idea.
How was it, somebody, you know?
Yeah, good.
I can't imagine it's.
And she hasn't listed it. She knows we're interested. You know, obviously, we would be, we use it.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I said, we'll gather some information, and I certainly don't. 15,000 seems out of line to me.
I think it's
double.
It seems double as
Yeah.
what they've been getting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if it perked and,
that would be different. Then she'd be selling it for.
and even though it's a big corner lot, it's a big corner lot on the two busiest
Yeah,
roads
so I
in
don't think it'd be.
Grand
good.
Point, so that, to me, that would be a detraction,
Yeah.
so.
And as far as association bylaws are concerned, if it doesn't perk and you purchase it, you can't do anything with it. You can't pitch it, can you pitch a tent on
No,
it? Can
covenants
you
do
put a
not allow-
camper on it?
Covenants do not allow that.
Okay.
The only thing that could happen is if this person bought it or the other guy in Beretta and they wanted to, you know, increase their own property size, they could use it for, they could put an RV there, you just couldn't live in it.
Right.
And you can't pitch a tent and live in it.
Did you put a garage on it?
You
Yes.
could put a garage on it.
So somebody could use it as a workshop kind of thing.
You're not allowed to have a workshop in, well, when you say workshop, you mean
Private,
business.
not
Like
business.
private workshop,
Well, if it's
yes.
a garage, they could use it, you know.
Hobby, as a little,
Hobby.
yeah, hobby shop, yeah, but yes, they could do that as well.
Okay.
So, I'm not gonna mention that, but, I would imagine if she were to put it with a realtor, that realtor would speak to the adjacent owners and ask if they're interested. I mean, that would be logical to me, that the realtor would do that. And both of these are relatively new owners, so I doubt that they would be.
Okay, anything else on that? Any other new business?
Oh,
Too
so,
late. Too late.
not me again.
Each one takes his loss.
Some communities, and I know the one, ours in Alexandria, Virginia, have a community yard sale day.
Yep.
And ours in Alexandria does it the first week in May and the first week in October, and I didn't know if that was something that we wanted to do.
We've done it in the past, once, maybe twice. I think you and I talked a little bit
We
the
did,
other day. And what we did then was that lot again. If you wanted to, you know, have a little spot, just, you know, let me know, and I would reserve a little spot for you. And if you wanted to have it at your own house, I did a map with, I don't know, 6 or 8, 10 different locations of people doing it. So yeah, it's been done. And I actually I lined it up with the community cleanup day to come up the next weekend, thinking,
Oh, that's a good idea, yeah.
Get rid of it.
Didn't sell.
get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, of course, there's no community cleanup day for spring, hopefully again in the fall. So maybe looking toward fall
Yeah.
to do that?
Revisit it.
Yeah, and I think the first, maybe not do it the first week in May, because I always find everything is like that first week in May. I think we had like 4 things
Oh,
scheduled that
yeah,
first week in May.
yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens in the fall as far as the cleanup and think about
Okay.
it. So it's not a bad idea.
I don't think it's a good idea.
If all we do is just provide kind of a
Yeah.
space and,
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it wasn't any, you know, work on our part. You know, if you're gonna come up here and have a little space, that's your, you do that. You know, I'm not doing that with
Just have
you.
to
Yeah.
think
Just
about
to-
parking.
We just did it out of
Well,
our
that's
different
true,
homes in
yeah.
our community. We didn't provide a space, the
Well,
association
and-
did. But I mean, that's a nice thing to do
Yeah,
for people that,
right,
Instead of a table and stuff.
right,
Yeah,
right.
Could do combination where you have, like you said,
Yeah,
that, and
combination,
then you have
yeah.
people
Yeah,
that
I
have
think
it at
that's
their own
nice.
house.
It's more comfortable having your own house anyway.
Well, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
instead of bringing all the stuff down here and then having to bring.
Unless you have like dogs or something that like,
Well,
want
yeah,
everybody.
Or
or where I am, I'm back, I'm at the end of the road and people always back out and they knock over my neighbor's mailbox. I don't think they want a community yard
No,
sale.
no.
They would want us to use this lot
Yeah,
here, so.
Okay, our next meeting would be on July 6th, Tuesday. Does that work for everybody?
Plus it does.
Yeah, why not?
At 7?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long
Membership
weekend,
meeting
are
is
there people
29.
gonna be away? 'Cause,
It's-
you know, the 5th,
Is Monday a federal holiday?
that's what my
Oh,
calendar
is that right?
says here, the
Yes.
5th, Independence Day observed. So
Yeah.
it's the 4th, it's a Sunday,
But
so
maybe
it's
you'll be
observed.
away here.
Well, but I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I'm not aware.
I'm gonna be here.
I'm gonna be here.
We're leaving July